Hello and welcome to Ivory Blush Roses. My name is Lisa. I need to apologize because it's been a while since I've posted a video. As many of you know, I had some surgery in December, about a week before Christmas, and then with all the Christmas activities, by the time January came, I was in need of a break. And so I decided to take the better part of January off just for my own health and well-being. I often have felt like my birthday that's in mid-January is the start of my new year. So many people have resolutions and goals that they start on the 1st of January and new projects and new year-long things. And when I get to that point in the year, all I'm ready for is a break. So I decided to give myself that break. Now, I have been filming and I've been working on things in preparation for things. So there are a lot of videos getting ready to head your way. But I just wanted to come on and say a quick hello and don't forget about me yet. I also have taken some time to reset my sewing room here. I found that in the previous arrangement, I just wasn't happy. I felt a little hemmed in. All of my lighting equipment was kind of hanging over my head. The space was really tight. And so I've turned my table back around so it's facing the direction that it used to face. I'm much happier with this. Truthfully, I think it's a little nicer backdrop for you to be looking at. And the lighting is definitely easier to manage from this direction. So I've spent a lot of time working on that. I think I've got just a couple-minute clip of me trying to clean up and reorganize, and you can see the initial reset. It was definitely a working day. I've also gone through most of my fabric and wrapped it on comic book boards, and now it's displayed on shelves. I know it's a little hard to see. You can see on the shelf over here that most of my fabric is now out on display. There is still quite a bit that I need to deal with. I have a lot more fabric than I realized I did. I've always said most of my fabric is in fat quarters, and while that is still the case, I had a lot more yardage than I realized. I guess I need to get busy and do some sewing and start using some of that up. The next video is going to show how I'm setting up for the stitch sampler, which is going to be starting in the beginning of February. And I wanted to make sure that I give you a little bit of advance notice in case you would like to follow along and do something similar. And I'll be talking in that video about a couple of options as well. Since this is a crazy quilting channel, I'm actually making lots of little crazy quilt blocks that will then later on be assembled into a wall hanging, showing all of these basic crazy quilt stitches that we can use in crazy quilting. Hope you'll stay tuned for that. I have a stitch journal video coming. I will be honest with you, it is not my best video. It's not the video I wanted to make. I've already filmed it 5 times. I may end up filming that one again, I'm not sure. But it is coming, and then we'll be making a cover for that as well. I do want to get back to stitching on the autumn pillow. I really want to get that finished. I had really hoped to do that here in January. But truthfully, I just needed a break. I've done a little stitching on my own, working on finishing up a couple of projects. Another video coming soon is how to make a CD pin cushion. If you've used the tutorial, it's on my blog. I have a few updates to that, and I probably will be rewriting that post on my blog as well. That's all things to look for coming in February. Well, it's time to get this mess cleaned up. Between all the projects I was trying to finish and Christmas gifts I was making, everything just sort of piled up, especially on my sewing table, and I didn't even have room to work. It's amazing how many little bits and pieces of things accumulate. Just trying to get things neat. Putting away some class preparation stuff here that I had used in December. As you can see, Mushu is a good supervisor. He had to pay attention to every little thing I was doing. Didn't matter what I was doing, he was keeping an eye on it. I had let stuff pile up on the bed as well. I think I have a few embroidery hoops. I do use them for classes, so it's nice to have so many when people don't realize that they need something. And then I got started with the very first of my fabric folding project. I'm using comic book boards to wrap and store some of the fabric on. Since I filmed this video, I've done quite a bit more. And it's just so neat and clean looking, and I can keep it organized and I can actually see what I have. Instead of having it all stacked in plastic bins that I always had to dig through and forget what I had, this has just been a really nice way of dealing with it. And here I'm trying to look at other options because I just haven't been comfortable in this setup. So here we go, getting ready to move this table. Well, as you can see, I have gotten my table turned around. It's back in the position that I used to have it. I'm hoping that it gives me a little more floor space to work with in here and that it makes me not feel quite so closed in as I was in the other setup. I have still got some work to do. It's just time to neaten things up and make it a little bit easier. Lots coming in the very near future. Thank you so much for your patience. Until I see you next time, happy stitching, and I will see you in the next video.